feel like they're gonna bleed. Dried up and bulging out my skull. My mouth's dry. My mouth is numb.
Hello.